Usually I'm not an original politician because I used to work 20 years almost as an engineer, and we developed in Luxembourg and all over the world sensor systems for the automotive industry. And in that position I also developed special sensors. I own some patents on that side, and we introduced already at that time neuronal systems in order to analyze the data and discriminate the different positions of people, discriminate between human beings and between other things. And in that case, I learned already a lot of neuronal systems. At that time, AI, artificial intelligence, was not the main key driving word, which was now so pronounced as it is now. At that time, we just used it in order to sell the product with more quality. And in that case, I came in then in 2017 into the Bundestag. And then in that position, I'm now member of the Council for Research and Education. And in my position as reporter for our party group, I'm responsible for artificial intelligence. And there I want to discuss with you about some political things which might be interesting for you and which might also be interesting for the whole situation here in Germany, and to see what needs to be developed and how we are set up in our political atmosphere. If it comes to artificial intelligence, and that's a situation which I always receive when I discuss it in the countryside with people from different kind of society, there's always a kind of fear which people feel when they think about artificial intelligence. And you see that it's not only a chance, but a lot of people, they think it's more a disadvantage, and there's a danger behind artificial intelligence. And in order to that, also to improve certain systems, and to also enhance people that they know what is really artificial intelligence. That's our basic topic in the political discussion here in Berlin, as well as on especially on the countryside. And I see especially there is a certain thing between what is real and what is fiction. And we have to distinguish between what is really real thing and what is fiction. And most of the people, they think when it comes to artificial intelligence, it comes there that they think, okay, there's the cyborg already in their mind, the latent data is already reality, and that's the thing, a basic thing of fear, where we have to convince people that it's not like that, that artificial intelligence has chances, and that real things are not like maybe authors are using and describing it in books. And for that, we have to develop certain things and to get into discussion with people. We on the political side here introduced a strategy on artificial intelligence, and we also introduced an enquete commission for artificial intelligence, which is also a discussion round to show also people what is really behind artificial intelligence. And there are experts in it. Some of them are here. Some colleagues from the Bundestag who also used to work as informatic experts before they came into the Bundestag are involved, but they are also experts in this enquete commission. And we are discussing there an ethical framework so that people are more convinced on this topic. Another point is what I also want to point out is when it comes to reality, we also need to convince people by structures which are used on other topics. Artificial intelligence is like any other new invention. There was always discussion about new inventions. So it's in development. It's not, I don't use the word revolution, it's a development of new possibilities which are also providing and supporting people. And that's the question, how we can use existing structures, how we can put a human being, how we can put the man in the middle of the decision, and how we can then evolve out of these structures new standards. And we are a land of really developing standards in the past. My background is in automotive industry, and in the automotive industry we developed already standards in the past which give also people a safety, security. We also developed standards in that position where experts are sitting together and they are defining a framework which also keeps security on it. And that's a main topic where we have to think about is how we can then, from our legal point of view, how we can use these structures which are already existing on the automotive side, they're existing on the energy side, they're existing on the industry side, they're as well existing on the health industry, how we can then improve these standards and how we can put them from the analog time into the digital time. And that's basically my point of view in all these discussion rounds. Not the lawyer, the legal construction have to give certain laws. We have to create a certain framework, and in detail that has to be then developed and set up by these nominees and by these committees where experts are sitting together. And creating trust is also a basic thing. How can we create trust? And that's a thing what we need also discuss. How can we use existing standards? How can we implement these standards into new things? And how can we use, especially our knowledge, our experience here from our times? We have a big knowledge in Germany. And the artificial intelligence is not only a new word in Germany. We have a quite high community in science and research, which developed already milestones in artificial intelligence. And if I consider here the DFKI in Germany, which is over 30 years old, they developed already milestones in the Industry 4.0, and that's basically one point where we are also delivering to the world our expertise. And now it comes to the next step. How can we also use our existing industry, our Mittelstand, where we are leading factor, number one in the world? How can we use this expertise in order to develop then our strengths? And if it comes in a development in comparison to other countries like China or like the United States, we have to see that the United States, they are more used they have DNA of an entrepreneurship in their mind. They know how they can also make money out of new knowledge, out of new inventions. And we are somewhere behind in these dynamic markets, especially if it comes to the consumer market. There we have a little bit lack in comparison to the United States. And if you see then on the eastern side, like China, Rising Star, they have another ethical commitment to data, how they can use data, how the person has to somehow order themselves under the big society. And that's a challenge where we have to face ourselves and how we can find our way in this challenge. And if we come to Germany, I would express that there are some things where we can really win the competition. And if we concentrate on our expertise, especially on quality, like in the world, when I came into the United States, the German engineer is always a big factor, and it's well known in the world. And that we have to transfer now to the new time of artificial intelligence, that people are trusting in our knowledge, in our experience, and in our development. And that would be a big challenge and a big chance for us that we can also create a German way of artificial intelligence, how a German can really present our products in the world. And then it comes also to the question of functional safety. We can only convince people in a functional safety if our products are in a certain way better as other products, and if people are convinced in our products. And if it comes there, in my past experience, I developed different systems for automotive industry. And if you see that a car, like in the United States last year, that hit a bicycle rider passing the road, then we have also to think about which data we have to use. And the way of which data we have to also think about what is really critical. In reality, over 90% of the situations are not critical for autonomous driving, if I use that example. But the critical things are they don't happen that often. So we have to think about how can we really use a system, and how can we also create a model which also tests these critical situations. And a critical situation can happen like if a bicycle rider passes the street. I always know that in the United States there are not many bicycle riders on the road, but there are also not many bicycle riders on an expressway, and that needs to be also somehow tested. And in that way, I know that a lot of German companies are also trying to create synthetic data. And with this synthetic data, you can also prove extreme situation. And you can find also a standard how you can also test our system. And that would be a chance for us that we concentrate on our quality, that we develop our competence centers in that way to also prove a system, and that we also convince people with quality. And that would be our way of international competition. And in that way, we are developing from our federal government a topic, a master plan, and that needs to be now also developed in our system. We need to see also that we have a quite of good transfer in our industry, and that's the question where we can discuss later than in the discussion round. Thank you very much.